Many mahalos and welcome to this GoPro Tips live stream experience here on YouTube. I'm Cohen Summers coming to you from beautiful Southern California. Always, coming live to you on a GoPro. And we are here today to drop some tips and tricks on how to edit using your GoPro app. As always, we're going to have live Q&A, so make sure you're throwing your questions and comments down in the questions and comments box down below. I want to give a huge shout out to our customer support team. Thank you guys for being online to help us moderate. So they'll be there to answer your questions in real time, and then make sure you stay tuned at the end for myself as well as our special guest to be able to ask and get your questions answered by the crew here live on YouTube. But let's jump right in. But before I do that, I always forget, because how could I forget? For some of the best questions, we're going to be picking and giving away a wonderful, sexy Hero 8 Black. So at the end of the show, we'll announce that. So if you want your chance at winning a Hero 8 Black, just throw your questions in the box down below, and we'll be picking the best questions for their opportunity to win that Hero 8 Black. So now let's jump right in. So whether you're dusting off that SD card and you happen to join us last time with Ron, whether you're shooting some footage, to get a little bit of that home pro action, or maybe you're really lucky like our guest today where things are kind of slowly open up and you're going to get out and enjoy a little bit of your backyard this weekend, the GoPro app is here to help you view, edit, and share it faster and fresher than ever. The GoPro app is truly the unsung hero of the entire GoPro ecosystem. So whether it's simply to control your GoPro, stop and start recording, you can frame up your shot perfectly with the live preview, as well as control all the camera's functions right from your smartphone or tablet, both Android and iOS. So if you don't have that app, I would highly suggest just heading over to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and just downloading it onto your device. I like running it on both my iPhone when I'm on the go, but I do all my editing on an iPad, so I love having it on my iPad as well. So as you guys know, the GoPro app also allows you to update your camera without ever having it to touch a computer, which is a easy way to make it super simple to always have the latest and greatest features and benefits. For those that have a Max, make sure if you haven't updated your GoPro Max that you jump up and connect your Max so you can get the new 3K 60, as well as a bunch of new features like 360 time-lapse video, which is sweet. Also, another thing, if you guys missed out on our previous live stream on how to go live with your GoPro, that's another awesome thing that the GoPro app enables. So make sure you check out our previous GoPro tips live stream here on YouTube with the legendary Thomas Grana to help get your GoPro set up to go live, similar to what we're doing today. But as you know, we are here today to talk about how to edit with the GoPro app, and specifically, we're going to be talking about single clip editing as well as multi-clip editing. So I'm super excited to introduce our guest today. We happened to meet each other at the very first GoPro Family Summit that we had at the GoPro Mountain Games, many years ago. And he, came along to another GoPro Mountain Games. We ended up getting to hang out in Alberta at the Creator Summit. And over time, Kyle has become a close personal friend, brother of mine, and it has led to us even being able to launch a really cool project that a few of our other GoPro family members have gone on to do as well, and that is the GoPro Experience New Zealand. Many of you guys, though, you might know him as the man who got slapped in the face by an octopus by a seal. He's a true legend, a real GC, my friend, homie. We all know him as the Bare Kiwi. So what's up, Kyle? How are you down in New Zealand?
Woo! Kia ora, bro. Thanks, man. Wow, what an introduction. And kia ora, world. Hello and welcome, everyone, to my house. It is the last day of, yesterday was the last day of lockdown here in Aotearoa. So, New Zealand, we can now get out and play. I am so excited.
Good. I mean, first of all, you're in the future, so technically today you can't get out if you're in the States, but for all those guys down there, you can get outside and play, and we're really happy for all you guys, happy that New Zealand is, weathered this storm so well, and excited for, start seeing you guys get out. And I think you and I were talking about this when we were kind of doing the dress rehearsal. You guys now have access to one of the best playgrounds, and no one can come but you guys. So,
Oh, I am
hope
so
you guys
lucky.
enjoy.
Oh, we will. Don't you worry, man. I'm getting out. Abel Tasman's just over there, best national park in all of New Zealand. I'm going to go explore that, get out kayaking, get down to Queenstown, go bungee jumping, stop off at Fox Glacier, get up on that ice. Like, it's all there and it's all mine now.
Yeah, and only 4 million people to enjoy it. So it seems like not going to be like Disneyland rides or anything to go enjoy those things. So, well, I really appreciate you taking time to be with us today. Obviously with it being you guys have been locked up for so long, I bet it was you're probably chomping at the bit to get out there and have a little bit of fun. So we do appreciate you taking time, not only for us but for the whole GoPro community, because we know that you're a massive content creator. And one thing that I love about your story too is I remember the first time that we got to do a launch event in Auckland. You were challenged with making a quick edit at the time when the GoPro app and quick were separate, and it was something where you actually ended up making something in Premiere and then dropping it in quick. And it's so cool to see how as the app has gotten better and we've added different features and benefits, it truly has just become like your major workhorse. And so that's one reason, as we were talking about how do we want to focus on editing and the GoPro app, your name was one of the first to come up on the list. Well, it was the first to come up on the list. And I wanted to make sure that we highlighted some of these great things and tips and tricks that you have, and how you are just making it simple, you're making it easy. Because one thing you shared with me that I think truly resonates with myself and the whole reason GoPro exists is just we want you to enjoy the moment. We want you to get out there, get out behind that lens, and really just be able to capture, share, and get back to enjoying life, not get stuck behind a computer, stuck behind your camera, locked in the dungeon.
You basically summed it all up there, man. Like, when I first got the GoPro, loved it, traveling around, having some fun, but then I found that I was spending 5% of the time creating the video, and the rest of the time was me sitting inside editing, using Premiere Pro, going through footage. I was shooting too much, and it broke my heart. And I stopped shooting because I was like, man, I'm doing all this fun stuff, but it's not those cool videos, and I'm not tech savvy. So once I'm behind a computer, I was really struggling with the whole aspect of it all. And so once Quick came out, and because it was originally called Quick, which is an amazing app, and it synced up with the GoPro. I remember when that first came out, new technology, and I struggled with it at first. But it really did sum it up for me, and it made life so much better. It synced beautifully with the GoPro. It's free. I can edit straight on my mobile device. So I was using my phone, and I could drop it in there. It was a struggle because I was moving from Premiere Pro at first and having all the bells and whistles and everything in front of me. But a little shout out to a really good buddy of mine, Brando Yelovich, the Wild Boy. This guy is a real-time adventurer here in New Zealand. He actually circumnavigated our entire country for 600 days. He is the original Forrest Gump. That guy, I was fortunate enough to go to Yosemite with him. And while we're there, he showed me how he shoots and uses the GoPro app. And it really is a different mindset. You need to this is the best camera we've got. Use this. When I'm out skiing or mountain biking or something, this is more important. Have fun there and keep that GoPro just on the side. You don't need to leave it rolling, but once you've done a couple of laps, then go back up and shoot the couple of things you want for the day. Keeping those clips short, down to 30 seconds, 1 minute at the most, is key. And once he showed me, it sounds so simple now, but working with him and through this process, quicker downloads to my phone, the app literally just puts it all together. I don't know how you're doing it over there in the States. There's some crazy voodoo Harry Potter magic going on there to make the GoPro app
We also
work,
have to make sure that we're giving a huge shout out to our Paris team too. Like the Paris team is, a revolutionary for GoPro. So obviously, here in California, but we also have our Paris team and combined, like as you said, voodoo magic, Harry Potter magic. It's truly just game changer because that's exactly what we want to do is just make it simple, make it easy so that you can shoot, share, and, snap of a finger, you're off back to enjoying what you're supposed to, not getting locked in the dungeon. So I think this is a great part for us to segue and have you kind of jump into some of the examples that you've put together. And I think we've got some great single clip editing screen records that you're going to walk through a couple examples to show some different tips and tricks. So how about you tee up the first one, Eric, and Kyle, take it away, my friend.
All right. Well, so this here is actually a jetty down in the Nelson Lakes, not far from here. And I just want to show a single clip edit. Now, what I've done is I literally just walked down this jetty. I thought it was bloody beautiful. Had my phone out. Phone's all shaky. Not the footage, not the audio I'm after. So I grabbed the Hero 8, walked down the jetty, and literally all I've done is drop this clip into my phone. You saw I just trimmed those few seconds off either side. Then after that, you've got the option within the app of what ratio, what size do I want it? Is it, 16:9 for, Facebook, or where am I going with this? And I thought, leave it at its max ratio there. Little pro tip, you actually saw there, I got a screen recording of what I did here, is I put the brightness up on my phone before I start editing any color. That's key. The amount of times I've played around with the color, lifted the shadows like you can see I'm doing here, and then I've realized later my phone's brightness was actually too low the whole time. So have a little play around. The app now allows you to do color corrections, lift those shadows, give it some pop. And so I just have a little look through here. Every video is different depending on the scenario of whatever I'm after. And you can also put on some filters. So they've actually allowed filters in here if you're down that road there. There's some fun stickers if you're that way inclined and you want to have the GoPro logo in there or different parts. And so have a little play around. I think I go in here now and I'll show you some of the filters in here. So there are an array of filters if you're not into color correcting and you just want to let the filters do the job for you, and you can really get your hipster on. You can really boost that vividness. You can turn it black and white, and this is all free and easy as to just jump in there and use. And so in this case here, I went with no filter, just boosted the color a little bit. And once I've done that, simple as save it, it's on your camera roll, and you have a simple clip. And that's literally it right there. Just walking down the jetty, and it's now saved into my camera roll. And Eric, I think you can actually play the final edit for us there.
Yeah, so Eric, you want to tee up that final edit now that we've got it all dialed? Let's see what it looks like. Ah, sick as, my friend. You like that? You like that? I was trying to use a little bit of some local lingo there.
Kiwi lingo.
No, but seriously, Kyle, I thought that I loved the power of just that single moment, and when you called out like the filters and the color correction. Obviously, it's great just to have the filters if you're looking for something quick and easy, just to throw in there. And I love how you can pick a filter and you can adjust how much of that filter is going to actually apply. So if you don't want it like so over exaggerated, you can just have a subtle, just by sliding that back and forth. But then for those that really want to have the ability to fine tune the saturation, the vibrance, it's awesome to have those features to be able to do that. And what's cool is it's exclusive to GoPro content. The GoPro app can edit any content that your phone supports. So if it's in your camera roll, whether that be photos you took on your iPhone or maybe something you took on another camera, as long as your phone supports that content, you should be able to bring that inside the GoPro app. So it's awesome for those single clip edits. So whether that's for Instagram stories, or maybe you have a really awesome, powerful moment like Kyle did, great way to just, edit something real quick and get it up.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about a powerful moment there. I mean, that's literally just walking down a jetty in a beautiful place with the dawn chorus happening. And I think that's a massive key element when I am talking to people about GoPro footage and, wow, look at all your stuff. This is incredible. That is just an ordinary jetty that anyone can go to. And I really want people and people who are watching this to understand that your ordinary is extraordinary. That's the key element. We forget to share the content that is just so ordinary for us. We think, oh, this isn't, GoPro worthy. It is. It's beautiful. I know when I came over and hung out with you, Cohen, in California there, and you took me out surfing. Well, I mean, you went surfing and I flailed around in the water, but there was an amazing sunset, and all you Californians were just like, oh yeah, whatever, walking around with your boards, sunset going on, and I'm losing my mind. I think we all forget what our ordinary looks like. Don't be afraid just to stop for a second, get that camera out, let it roll for a few, like I literally let that roll for 45 seconds, and that was it. That was the one simple clip. And most people would just see that and just assume, oh, you're just walking down a beautiful jetty in the Nelson Lakes National Park with the dawn chorus. Share your ordinary, people. Like, man, your ordinary is extraordinary. I'm going to just stick with that.
And I think that's a great, term that you had coined, back when we started the GoPro experience. And it's something that truly resonated with me because it's exactly what makes GoPro so special is that GoPro gives all of the people around the world an enabling device to capture and share their lives' most memorable moments. And like you said, what's something that might be boring or mundane or just something that you consider just whatever, I'm just having a cup of coffee by a jetty, I do it every single day. That is something that's once in a lifetime, something that someone else may never be able to experience or see. I remember when Ron was here for the first time and he saw snow. Like I grew up in the snow. I see that snow all the time. I hate the snow during certain times. If I'm not shredding, I hate shoveling the snow and moving the snow. But you see Ron and it's like, he's jumping and slamming in the snow. He's having the greatest time in his life because he's never experienced that. And I think that's what it really is cool about the GoPro community is to get to see all of you guys out there creating and sharing your life's most extraordinary moments because it just brings us all in and helps us not only feel a part of that, but more connected in a really cool human way. And I think another clip that you've got set up that is also what incredible humans can do is down in Crankworks, so with Connor McFarland. So you want to walk us through the next single clip and how not only can you edit single clips that you shoot straight from a GoPro, but you can also take reframed content from Max and do single clip edits.
So this is a Max clip that I had put on the helmet of legendary Connor McFarland, an absolute amazing mountain biker here in New Zealand, based down in Queenstown, Wanaka Ways. This guy is nuts. So we're filming at Crankworks there. I've got the Max out in front of him on there. But what I want to show you here are these stickers. So the stickers are a great little feature. So one of my favorites is we can put on here the speedometer, which actually syncs up with the GoPro because it has a GPS within it. It tells you how fast you're actually going. So if you're mountain biking, rolling down a hill, skydiving, or just anything, putting it on your dog, putting the camera on your dog, you can see how fast your dog is going. You can put the GoPro logo in there. You can also put on a trail, so it's like it shows where you've gone and what's happening there. So maybe it's a hike that you've done, in this case a mountain bike run, and you can see how fast he's going here. I put it in kilometers per hour because, hey man, the rest of the world uses kilometers per hour, America. So and that's pretty much it. It adds a couple of little interesting features for a clip like this, and we can just see how much Connor like rips. And watch this. Here he goes, and up and
into these tight finishing corners here.
And then once I've got that, I would literally just export out that clip and save it as is. Showing the trail course, you can see the trail course there. You can see his speed. Throwing in the GoPro logo because I love it in there, and we're good. So save that to my mobile, and then I could just upload it easy as. Massive shout out to Connor. I know he's watching right now, and he's probably been hanging just to get out in the dirt.
Oh, I love that reframe shot that you took and how you framed it up when you did that backflip. Everybody loves a backie, as you say. You know. But you know, and that was, I remember seeing that course preview live when you guys posted that, you know, a few months back. And I think, you know, Crankworks is by far one of the, you know, coolest ways that, you know, mountain biking can have a platform to highlight some of the most insane athletes in the world. So I'm so happy that you chose that as an example, because man, everybody loves that footage. And how about we just tee it up and watch the full thing in full effect, full screen. So let's throw that back.
Oh man, thank you.
G'day, Connor McFarlane here. We're doing the GoPro course preview of the Cliff Bar Spin Style presented by Mons Royale. Dropping in. First little straight, little pedal. And then heaps of options on that first bit. End of the first trick jump. Big long outside berm here. And again, all the options you could want. Tom and crew done a mean job. Super tight corner there. Into a few flowers. Into the cliff jump. Into these tight finishing corners here. With a little sprint to the line. Like that.
I love that voiceover on that video. You know, I don't know how you can, Connor, how can you be ripping around like that, talking, doing backflips, and just, you know, you're just as if you were chatting to us, you know, while we're having lunch, like just so calm and collected, man. Just, you also are a legendary GC.
He's a machine, absolute machine. I was so lucky to be able to work with him up there at Crankworks, and yeah. Go check him out. Go find that guy because he rips, absolutely rips.
So for those, you know, that are just joining us, I want to thank you all for joining us on this GoPro Tips live stream here on YouTube. Today we're here with Kyle Bare Kiwi. He's dropping tips and tricks on how to edit using your GoPro app. We just covered single clip editing, so if you have any questions that we didn't answer, or you're just joining and you got some questions about single clip editing, make sure you throw your questions and comments down below, and our team of moderators will help answer those questions live, as well as Kyle and I will be answering a bunch of your questions at the end of the show, so make sure you throw them in there. For those that get chosen, we will be picking a special winner to win this beautiful Hero 8 Black. So I hope that you keep throwing those in there, because there's no limit on how many questions you can ask. So just throw them in there, and it's really up to our moderators on who ends up winning this camera. So make sure you go and throw those down there and you check that out. But without further ado, I think it's a great time to pivot and jump into multi-clip editing, and really what is something that is, as we talked about that Harry Potter magic, we all know how difficult creating multi-clip edits, whether it's montages, whether it's, you know, a single moment made up of multi-clips, and timing transitions and cuts and music. It's why I don't do it. And honestly, it's, you know, something that I'm so grateful to have, you know, the GoPro app and the capabilities of what used to be now quick is now embedded within GoPro on the GoPro app, because it's just truly changed the game for someone like me. You know, that I don't come from this background. I love to shoot. You know, I used to shoot a lot of photography, but now with the GoPro app, I'm shooting way more video because it's so easy to create multi-clip edits. And Kyle, I'd love for you to kind of share your experience and how you've transitioned and frame up the example that you've got, you know, to share with us today.
Yes. So we've got a clip here that I'm going to explain how I've created it, just to give people an idea. This took me about half an hour or about 2 beers worth to edit this on my phone after like sandboarding. You're about to see the sandboarding clip, but for viewers here, we're not going to sit through that whole 30-minute process. So I've taken a screen recording of my phone and we've kind of trimmed it down to roughly about 7 minutes. So I'm going to speak as fast as I can so that the rest of the world can understand me as I explain my thought process and what I do here with this clip. But a few little pro tips before you do go out there and set up. Think about what you want to achieve before. Now, we often don't know what's going to come around the corner, so we make the mistake of leaving the camera rolling. You don't need to do that. Let the camera roll for 30 seconds. Stop it. Let it roll for 30 seconds. Stop it. Like basically edit within the camera on the way as you're going along. You do have an idea basically of what's coming on, and make those, get a few shots, stage a few shots to tell the story. You need a beginning, middle, and end. So, get a few introduction shots, and then don't be afraid of the clips. So should we jump on in and I'll explain what I did here for this video.
Good to go.
Is everyone ready to hear the accent? So this is up in Northland. What I've done here is gone sandboarding. I've downloaded the footage to my phone and just dragged and dropped it into the app. Now the app will actually automatically create a video for you, saving you all the work, and you might be happy with that. In this case, I'm going to go through. First thing I'm going to do, you can see down the bottom there, is I'm going to pick the style I want. I think there's about 11 different styles, and that's talking about the transitional style of the entire clip. In this case, I've got launch, I've got action. There's all these fun different ones here. I'll quickly flick through until I find a style that really suits the vibe of the video. And once I'm there, I'm just going to leave it there. The next piece is I'm going to pick a song. Now, GoPro has brought and given you all these songs. You can even go in and use the songs that are currently on your phone. In this case, I've gone through and found a song that I like, and this takes a little while. Now, the cool thing is GoPro have organized these songs. They're royalty-free, and they're constantly updating them for you. Now, once I've found a song, a little pro tip, turn the volume down so the song doesn't ruin it for you. And then pick the shape. Now I'm going to go back to the first little clip there, and this is where I start telling the story. So I'm going to either put in a title. So I decided why not go with cool story, bro? Throw a little shaka in there.
Little shaka action.
Yeah, you can make that go long or short. In this case, I thought, nah, I don't really need it in there. So you can delete them, just drag, drop, and delete that clip, and then it just removes it from there. Now, some of the footage didn't go in the right order that I wanted, so I knew I wanted this drone clip first, so I'm just going to put my thumb on it, drag, and scroll it to the beginning. And you literally are just doing that with your phone. I'm using my phone, and I'm just dragging and dropping, drag and drop, move the clips around until they're in the spot that I want. Once they're there, I click on the highlights feature. Now, the highlights feature is an awesome little feature that will literally just put in a nice little segue in and out of each video. I'll scroll. It also lets me scroll through and see the full clip that I've recorded. How good is this? We're driving up a beach here. My wife driving through the sand and the mud of 90 Mile Beach. We're up making our way toward those epic sand dunes there, and I've got the GoPro Karma flying along beside. She's a very patient woman dealing with me all the time here.
To say the least,
so
Kyle.
I'll just trim those clips down. Yeah, I know she's watching. She's probably going to tell me off for this. I also told her if she ever made it into this video, I am like literally getting a jandal around the head. So fingers crossed she doesn't see any clip where she's in there.
Oh no, Lisa. Well, I'm going to call you out because now you're in here, because I'd like to see Kyle get a jandal to the head.
Yeah, thanks, man. Basically, anytime I hold a green board, I know to delete that clip automatically. So with these clips, I'm then just going to go through, highlight them, and I'll quickly scroll through a lot of them. And I'll be like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. You know, sandboarding down. And I'm just going to watch that. Like, personally, I just want to point out to everyone, they've got to get up to this place, Northland, the very top of the country, and go sandboarding because it is so much fun. So I'll go back to my process here. Scrolling through the footage, have a look. Now, team, this is the key part. Start deleting content. I think we don't delete enough content. We think we have to hold on to everything. All these little bits and pieces I thought were fun. Turned out they weren't the best. You saw this shot. I'm like, these are the shots that I'm after. Now that I found the clip, the dream clip, watch this one here. Max speed into an explosion. This is the one clip that I'm really, really after to tell the story. Just want to point out, this was filmed probably 3 months ago, and I'm still finding sand everywhere. This clip, I'm going to manually trim. But then what I want to do is duplicate the clip. Because what I want to do is a little ramping up. So the first scene, I'm going to let go at the normal speed up to that explosion. And once I get to there, I'm going to stop about there. And then I'm going to go to the next clip. And then what I'm going to do is manually trim from that explosion part there. So I'll just try and, just use my thumb and I scroll along and I get into the same exact clip, same spot there. And then I'll put the rolling out. And then what I want to do is slow-mo. Add a little bit, like I'm going to half that speed there. And then what I'll do is I'll duplicate that clip one more time. So you can use the same clip multiple times here. And then that little spot there coming out of the explosion. And then down to the end, back to normal. But I want the audio in this because the very bottom part, I am like just yelling with my head off like, woo! So you can actually get the audio and you can like merge that, or they call it mixing it with the song that's playing over top. And so I'll go through here to the audio option and I'll mix the two so the music will go down, the volume will come up on there. And then basically that's it. Once you've done that, you've started to tell a bit of a story.
And you got a giant face full of sand.
I got a giant face full of sand. One last thing, I got the little part there where I go in and I also go with the length of the video. I always like to either pick whatever the audio, there's always a little symbol for music, and I love that part because that's telling me the app has worked out where the music is going to sync beautifully with everything going on at the same time. And hey presto, the app's made a video for me that, like I said, took me 30 minutes or 2 beers long, and I'm good.
Well, Kyle, I appreciate you sharing that, and I know that we kind of ran through that quickly. So a couple pro tips that Kyle pointed out that I think are huge. One, like he said at the very end, and I love, we really built this so you can kind of go left to right. So as you see, Kyle follows the buttons as they kind of flow because it's kind of building that workflow so it's very natural and easy for you. So you start from the left and you move to the right. And that last one where you can change, because sometimes you want to get that underneath that 59 seconds so it doesn't have to be, an IGTV post. You want it as a native post, or maybe you're looking to get it under 15 seconds. You can legitimately slide that slider up and down, and it will help you get the time code you want, as well as those little icons that will be perfect for Instagram, or as to Kyle, his point, I always try to line it up perfect to the music because that's going to adjust the cuts and the transitions to ensure that all the timing works with the content you're using. A couple other things I want to call out as well, Kyle. I love how you use your highlight tags so that when you're reviewing your content, you can mark that moment. So what you're doing is you're telling the GoPro app, hey, I know you're going to use your super smart algorithms and machine learning to, get facial recognitions and smiles and hoots and hollers, but this is a way to make sure that if that's a moment you want to be in your edit, you can click that little highlight tag button in the editing side and it will mark it. What's also cool is you can do this when you're just reviewing your content after you downloaded it. And then you can also do this in real time by using the GoPro voice commands, by just telling GoPro highlight, or you can actually do it if you can touch your camera like you're holding in your hand. You can actually just hit the mode button on the side of the camera and it will allow you to highlight tag as well. So a great way to help ensure that you're finding the right moments. But as Kyle and I were joking, I feel like lately I just don't even need a highlight tag because the camera and the app and the algorithms and the Harry Potter magic they are legitimately finding those moments, right?
Honestly crazy. It blows my mind. Like sometimes it just makes a video for you. Like you will go out there and it knows this is where Kyle fell off. This is where something happened. My big cheesy grin, it'll pick up on it and put automatic highlights. I'm like, this is crazy smart and it's free. And that's the craziest part about it, is that you guys have given it to the world for free, along with that music, because for me, music is always the hardest part of any video. And I appreciate, and I don't know who's done it or which one of you guys sitting over there in the States has had to painfully go through all this music, but you've picked some kick-ass music in there that works awesomely with these videos. And these songs are quite long that I've actually, over the time, discovered that a lot of the tracks aren't, one continuous song. They've got variations in them that I can use 30 seconds here and then another video later on, 30 seconds at the end, and they're very different. And it just keeps my music library alive, and you guys are doing all the work for me. So cheers, GoPro. Thanks for that.
No, I mean, I think it's like that very symbiotic relationship, right? You're the one that's out there doing all the rad stuff. We just want to help, give you the tools to keep not only doing it, but make that content as sick and badass as possible. But, I mean, we've been chatting a lot, and we might as well tee this video up because you put a lot of great effort. We've been chatting way too long. So how about we tee that video up and let's see what this thing looks like once it's fully edited, or what took you 2 beers to make. Woo! Oh man, I know you've told me that you need to take me down here. Well, I mean, up there from down there, but I think that looked like an incredible day, and if you guys had that whole sand dune to yourself, like, that's so awesome. But hey, Kyle, I know that you were chatting with me. I know you were chatting with me in the background. You said you wanted to give a couple shout outs to some special people that have been joining. So, before we kind of jump into transition to the Q&A and things, love to have you give a couple shout outs for anybody that's out there joining. I always want to shout out and thank everybody for joining.
It's so cool because I'm sitting here, I've got this GoPro in front of me, I'm talking to you, I've got this little thing going live, and I get to see some of the comments, and I just saw some good buddies of mine. Well, they've become good buddies now, Liquid Fusion Kayaks. These guys are up in Northern California there, and I met them a little while ago, and it's this crazy operation. Just everyone needs to Google whitewater kayaking on the sea, because these guys take you out in kayaks into these crazy waves and basically pour overs, like the waves are going over the rocks and they take you over there. They take anyone out, bro. You gotta go check that out. It's amazing. So Liquid Fusion Kayaking, guys, gotta check them out. So I just saw that they were commenting on there. Big ups to them and love it. My mate Rhino Adventures is commenting away. This is crazy. I can't believe I get to sit here in little old New Zealand and be live on this huge GoPro platform with all of you fellas. It's absolutely overwhelming. So thanks for this opportunity. It's blowing my mind, and then it's cool to see buddies of mine jumping in there. See Ed Ringwood jumping in there.
What's up, Ed?
Yeah, so whitewater kayaking of the sea. You got to go find that out. Like it is, yeah, that blew my mind. That's one of my favorite things I've done in California. Honestly, yeah, Northern California. What a beautiful spot.
Yeah, California is just so many different landscapes, topography, everything you could possibly imagine. So it really is an incredible playground for us too. So I think we're all very lucky, where we get to call home. Even if, lately it's been a little bit different. We all know eventually it will get back to normal. And then, man, that's when all of us can quit itching and just get back out and, start to enjoy it. It sounds like I got it when we go up north to the San Mateo office. I got to look up, Liquid Fusion kayaks. That sounds primo. But again, I want to thank you, Kyle, for taking the time to join, because I know obviously you had some margarita plans today that we interrupted. So I do appreciate you taking time to hang out with us and drop some tips and tricks on how to edit with the GoPro app. We highlighted both single clip editing and multi-clip editing. And now for my favorite part of the show, we get to turn it over to our moderators to help tee up some questions so that you all out there can get your questions answered live by myself and Kyle. So we're going to tee up a quick video so I can get the iPads teed up with the moderators' questions, and we'll be back. And we also have a cool treat too. Knowing we're talking on the GoPro app, and I know some of these questions are going to be related to the GoPro, the app editing functions, we actually have a way to show in real time the GoPro app, so we can highlight some of these questions in real time too. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. We'll be right back, and stay tuned. Alrighty, so we're back with the Q&A here. Kyle, you ready for some Q&A?
Yeah, I just want to point out that video is my summer office. That is kayaking here in the Abel Tasman. So come say hi, man. That's what we get to do all summer. Well, we don't get to see dolphins all the time, but that's where I get to live and hang out. And I'm going to go do that this weekend. So I'm going to go hang out with my buddies at Abel Tasman Kayaks and get back salty on the water.
What a beautiful national park. That is, it was truly special to get to come down and hang out with your wedding and be just at the brink of that, incredible, national treasure. And hope we can come back and, soon and, get to go on one of your tours. I'd love to go, on a 7-day, trip with you guys. I think that would be just primo. But let's jump into some questions. We got a whole bunch of questions. Thank you guys so much for throwing your questions in the question and comment box. We'll try to get to as many as we can here. Of course, we know our team is also answering them. So thank you, customer support team, for helping tee these up. I appreciate you throwing them in this little iPad so we can answer them. So let's go first to this question from Matt Sturgeon. What's up, Matt? How's it? Matt wants to know, what features does the GoPro app still need to be like a single source editing tool, or is it there? What's your thoughts, Kyle?
Single source editing tool. Well, at the moment you can. I think it has had a massive upgrade because I can also edit my photos in it and my videos. So we just showed you today editing video, single clip editing and everything. Those options are also there for photos. So it has become Lightroom, Premiere Pro, all in the same one there. I can have a play around with color correction. I can adjust, move, change everything around in there. And I know I'm in a unique position that, like you said, there's this talented crew in France working on this app, and I have somehow managed to be one of the people that they talk to every now and then and ask me questions, and they are constantly working behind the scenes. So get excited, people, because there's some cool features and there's some random people like me around the world who are giving them input, and they do listen to what we're after. So it is definitely, it's blowing my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome, and that's what it's great. Is I mean, GoPro is built by our community, and not only is it going to always be, continue to be built by the community, that your guys' feedback is super important. So whether that's join in now and letting us know your questions. Like, what do you guys want to hear on future live streams? Like, what kind of topics do you want to hear about? Throw those in the questions and comments box below too, because we want to know what you guys want to hear, or what tips and tricks you want to know, or maybe you want to hear from certain family members or certain athletes. Like, let us know, because this is really all about just connecting with you guys and helping you guys just get more and just feel more connected to all our GoPro family around the globe. But we also know the feedback is super important because it leads to future decisions. And what's awesome is, and Kyle and I are both, lucky to have seen this, like feedback that we've given directly to our teams, things actually get updated and change. And when you see that, it's like, wow, dude, they like, not only do they know who I am, they listen to my feedback. And I think that's just pretty special to know that they are truly listening.
Yeah, it's exciting. There's some fun things constantly on the move, and I love it. Yeah, this app is it's really evolving. It's constantly evolving. So
for sure. And just wait, for things that will come. Like, it's always going to just, we're constantly making it better, improving it. And, I think that was one of the new features. The next question can help answer. Tyler Freyar, I hope I got that right. Can use the wants to know, can you use the GoPro app for color grading? And I think you already answered this question a little bit earlier in the single clip editing. Yeah. So I'm going to tee up this quick example on my iPad just so that we can see that again, how you do that in real time. So Eric, if you want to tee up the screen share of the iPad I've got, I'll jump on the iPad and show you guys. So, all right, so if you guys click here, I've got this sweet clip. We were up at Jackson Hole for the Steep and Deep camp with my homie Andrew Whiteford. So once I've reframed a clip, or I have a single clip, you're gonna see at the bottom of the screen, you've got the little pencil. I'm gonna click on the pencil, and once I have the pencil, you're gonna go into adjust. And then within adjust, I can pause it if I just wanna make sure, maybe I wanna find a certain spot to make sure I got my colors right. Maybe I wanna go where the sun is. So I can pause it right there. And as you can see on the bottom, I've got exposure control, and I can change that exposure down because it may be too bright, or maybe I wanna bring it up. Wow, you can see that's super blown out. So you can bring that down. I can go over to my contrast. Again, I can bring it down. I can bring it back. Maybe I bring the vibrance up. Got to have those blues looking crispy. The temperature, maybe you want to make it a little bit colder. Maybe you want to make it a little bit warmer. And then I can adjust my shadows. Well, that's too many shadows. Let's bring it up there again. And then maybe I always like boosting the highlights. And there you see, right there you have it. And that quick, I've got a brand new, fully color corrected clip. It's non-destructive, so similar to your other app experiences, if you want to go back, change it later, it's all there so that you can go back and do that again. That's at the top of Corbett's cabin up at the Corbett's Couloir. We're just waiting for it to open. It was a beautiful day, and by far one of the best ski days I had this year. Anytime you get to hang out with Whiteford, it's legendary. Sweet. Thank you, Tyler, for that question. So
it's awesome. Like, I was so stoked when the color options finally got in there. We moved away from just having the filter option. So they've put that in there. It's exciting. I'll take this moment to say, I hope they put sharpening in there so that we can boost the sharpness in there.
Yeah, hey, I think that's a great call out. If anyone's listening on the GoPro app team, sharpening would be great to have. Hey, Tony Spires wants to know, Kyle, can you explain, I know you covered it with the sandboarding clip, but can you explain how to slow down a portion of a clip, but also, still wanting to keep that rest of that clip at normal speed? So kind of that speed ramp effect, he wants to know, will he have to duplicate the same clip? And I think you know the answer, but why don't we have Eric tee up that clip from your sandboarding, and then you can kind of walk through, to help answer Tony's question.
Tony. Well, I'm really, really excited that maybe ramping might one day get in there. You can do it in Premiere Pro, but it's not in there at the moment. So what I do is manually trim, and I duplicate that clip multiple times. And you can see here, I've literally manually dragged down to 3, 2, 1. Oh, the rollover right there. So I've used that one full clip, right? And then I'll manually trim down to about, right, there's the end of the clip. Duplicate it. So I hit those 3 dots up on the right-hand corner, which gives me the option to duplicate. And then I'll manually trim down to that explosion. So I'll go back, find it, boom, there it is. And then once I've got that clip that I'm after, then I'm gonna go in and actually slow-mo. So to get the slow, make sure you're shooting at 60 frames a second. You can go at like 120 frames at 2.7K if you want. I think it's 240 frames at 1080. I don't know, man. It's crazy. You can go crazy fast.
8 times slow-mo.
Love it, man. But that's going to give me that option to actually 60 frames is going to let me halve that speed. And then I will literally just manually trim from the other side. So then that's going to give me that ramping ability there. And depending on, now this goes back to the beginning, depending on what transitional option you went with. Is it action? Is it launch? Is it cinematic? That depends on what's going to come because you're adding new clips there. Action might put a bit of a fade over top. They all have different styles. So pick a style that's going to look sexy. And I found that the launch style looks really good. It kind of just clips straight through from where I'm at without any craziness going on. And then, I've got that speed ramping, ability. And it really doesn't take that long to do.
Yeah, it's awesome. And again, you probably didn't even have 3 sips of a beer before you finished that, which is great. But thank you for that question. Battle Tested 82 wants to know, Kyle, is there a way you can edit on the app using your own music? I know you talked about the royalty-free music, but can you use your own music?
First off, just want to point out, great name.
Agreed.
Yeah. Look, you can. And that is a great feature. And I think it's beautiful that GoPro created a free app that lets you leave their ecosystem. So whatever music is already stored on your phone, I use an iPhone, and so it's what's even iMusic. And so come on, the reality is if it's a hardworking artist and they have their song and you've downloaded it, you can't just go into their Spotify and steal it. That's just cheeky. Come on, man. Like pay for those royalties. So what I do, guys, is I use things like I use different websites and I pay for the music and then I download those and I put them into my iTunes account. And that way I know that I've paid for the music, they're royalty free, and I can use them because at the end of the day, we're all artists and we all want to be paid for what we do. And I honestly just think it's just no one has the right to take anyone's music. So doesn't matter how big or small you think they are, we need to work together in this creative community and support each other. And I think that's the great thing about the music that is available in the GoPro app, that GoPro have sourced and work with these artists on their tunes. So support, great. There's a bunch of awesome websites out there that let you pay subscriptions to for the year, and you get to use their music library, and you'll be allowed to download them, put them on your phone, and you can use them as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like we use a website called Epidemic Sound, and we pay for subscriptions for those. And I know even like the pre-show we had some of those things running as well. So, but maybe you're like one of our legendary purveyor of the dreams, JMO, that happens to be one of the most prolific GoPro ambassadors of all time, and he happens to make his own music too. So if you are that hardworking artist and you both shoot content and you make music, well, as long as, again, if it's on your phone, stored where your phone can access the music, easy to just use either GoPro's music or, again, music that might not be within the app. But to Kyle's point, got to give credit where credit is due. So thank you, Battle Tested 82. Next
Great
question.
name.
Andrew Westoven wants to know, can you mix GoPro videos with phone videos in an edit on the app?
Yes. Isn't that nuts? That blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. You would think, honestly, I would just think GoPro would create, or any company would create something that just keeps you locked into their ecosystem, but they don't. As long as it's on your phone, you can use it. So if you, like, let's say you get out there with another brand drone, or you're using your phone footage and you get this awesome content, all you do is in between each clip, there's a little blue plus symbol, and you just push that, and it lets you go back into your camera device. And from there, you can then find any footage that's stored in there. You can even put a photo within a video, and it'll kind of do this montagey part with it. But yeah, you can use your iPhone footage, your Android footage. I think that's a beautiful thing that GoPro have gone and been good buggers about it, and let anyone, drag their other clips in there. So you don't necessarily need a GoPro for editing with this, which is awesome.
Yeah, and it's actually always been that way. Originally, before the GoPro app had these capabilities, we had two apps, right? As you mentioned, it was Quick, and we had the GoPro app. Yeah. And before that, it was a company called Replay. So that team out of France that started this was an editing tool that was to be used by anybody. And so when GoPro acquired Replay and it became Quick, we never wanted to lose that capability. We wanted to enable the content creators out there to create content no matter what footage the camera was shot on, because we knew that it was just more powerful to be able to give you guys an app that had feature sets to do that. So it's really awesome that I'm guilty of it. Sometimes you forget to take that shot of the sign, and you're leaving town and you're like, oh man, I need to get that one shot so people know where I was in my edit. Well, whip that phone out, snap that shot. Maybe you forgot your GoPro camera died at the end of the day and you just need one more little selfie with the crew. Well, take that with someone else's camera, take it with your phone. And it's awesome to know that you can integrate other content other than just stuff that's shot on a GoPro.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, this is another great name. It's Dat5. Dat5. Fa5. Dat5. Fa5. I'm probably slaughtering that. I still like the name, even though I can't, I'm slaughtering it.
Man, every single teacher, whenever I got a new teacher at school, would always call me Kylie. So I'm used to people mispronouncing names, and it breaks my child.
Dude, I'm the same way. At least you're not, a lot of times I get called Colin, which that's okay. But dude, every once in a while you get someone that called me Colin, and I'm like, yep, that's for sure my name. Thank you. My parents really loved me and named me Colin. But this person would like to know, how do I get the best size for YouTube? Do I first put video out but have black bars on the side, trimming? They kind of want to know, what do you do to set your videos up to be set for YouTube? And again, if there's anything you want me to do to show in real time too, Kyle, I can also just show an example on the iPad. So you kind of just you answer the question, but let me know if you need me to, give you an example.
Well, I'm just thinking, so I want to export at the best quality because every time you upload, you lose a little bit of resolution. We've all had that struggle when you upload to Instagram and you're like, why is it not looking as good as someone else's? And often it comes down to internet speed, and maybe it's just the viewer's speed as well. Look, in camera, make sure that you've got it set nicely. I shoot everything in 2.7K, 60 frames per second. I will set that sharpness to medium, and make sure that that's working well. I download. I have I hate to say it, guys, but upgrade your phone. I found if you've got a decent phone or iPad and you're downloading to decent hardware, you're not going to lose that resolution. Once I've finished the edit, I will then export to my phone. So I found the best option is actually to export to my phone so that it's saved natively within the camera process, within the camera album on there. And I've also found, and this might sound a little niggly, and maybe I'm the only one out there doing it, but I've also found that, so I'm in the Apple world, that if I airdrop it to my laptop, and then actually upload it from there, it'll be at the highest resolution possible. So maybe that's a little pro hack. I'm not too sure whether the guys at the app are aware of this, but I've found if I can upload, get it onto my laptop, it'll come out at solid 1080p. Like it'll be as high res as needed, and then upload it from there. If you do want those little bars in there, try cinematic as one of the 11 different options, and that's a pretty sweet little option there. It brings in that little sexy cinematic look about it. But yeah, what do you reckon about that, Cohen? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the head. I think there are a couple other things you could do too. Like if you're shooting on Max, for example. What's awesome about shooting on Max is when you go to reframe, you really can output it with whatever field of view you want. So that's one thing I love about using Max, is that you want it 9:16. Great, it's perfectly vertical for Insta stories. You can then reframe that content into 4:3 or 16:9, and it really gives you that flexibility. And if you're using other content, it might have black bars depending on what the footage has been shot, or if you rotated the camera vertically or horizontally. But there are great ways, like those pro tips that Kyle gave to you, to maximize so that you're always set up for whatever platform. And I think that's like one of the points, back to what Kyle said, is think about what you're going to do with your footage ahead of time. Because if you know that this is going to live on YouTube, well, then you need to make sure that you're shooting to have a 16:9, because you don't want to rotate the camera vertically and have it be vertical. If you know you're shooting for Instagram stories, well, rotate that GoPro vertically and use that vertical orientation, because it's obviously going to format it to 9:16. So again, a little bit of pre-planning will help you set up and make your post-production life a million times better. So thank you for that question. Michiana Racing Channel wants to know, how do you control music and people speaking during the videos when editing with the auto highlights?
Okay, so that sounds to me like they're after the mix of the two, because I'm a big fan of that. And if they're a racing channel, I'm assuming having a little bit of noise in there from the vehicle or the bike or whatever they're doing, it kind of makes those videos a little bit more sexy, I think. So I would go into the audio option, and there's a little picture. I think it's a little picture of a speaker, and so you click on the video clip that you are editing.
Oh, hey Kyle, let me cut you off real quick. What I can do is I'll pull up a little clip here, and then you should be able to see it on the screen too, once Eric gets this pulled up. And then what I'll do is you can basically walk me through, and I'll do what you're saying. So
he's a busy man, that Eric guy. He is behind the scenes. He does all the hard work. We get all the glory.
We have to give Eric Gonzalez a huge shout out. Thank you so much for producing this show. You are just the MVP. For all those people out there to know, like, this would be possible without his support. So thank you, Eric.
You wait.
All right.
We're talking about him, it's all going to go black. Oh, there it is. So
as you can see here, I need to first give a quick shout out. This is these two also legendary GCs. We got David Luck and Elliot Harper. They're from our MIA team. And, we're at an awesome hockey game. The Red Bulls, we're playing that. So, like, if you load your edit and you've got it all set up and you're ready to kind of start mixing your audio, take it away, Kyle, and I'll be your driver.
Yeah, well, so click on the clip down the bottom there. You got the little pencil symbol right in the middle of one of their faces. Now, all these options, oh my God, that screen grab is brilliant. Now, on see the third one from the right there, which says volume. And if you click on that one there, the volume's already muted, but go to mix. And mix in the middle will now sync in with the volume of them talking plus the volume in the background. But maybe you don't want that music to be key, so go to boost. And if you go to click on boost, that is literally going to fade out the music, fade in their audio, and then at the end of the clip, it'll fade out their audio and bring back in the music. But from what I gathered, the question was they want those two mixed. So then I would go back to mix, which I'm actually a big fan of, because I like to hear those scrapes, those growls, the birds, the falling, the ice scraping, Ron, in the background there. And by mixing it, it's I think often creates quite a cool little clip there. And then I'll just push the little tick and job done. I don't know whether viewers can hear that clip at all or not, but it kind of, I hope that answers what they were looking for there.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think you did a great job explaining that. And the other part, if you're looking, the other part I gathered is like when it's auto highlighting. So if it doesn't pick up the audio perfectly, like maybe you're trying to give like, hey, what's up guys, I'm here today doing blah blah blah, that's where what I would suggest is trimming that part and doing the manual option, and then just doing the audio, and then you could boost it or you can mix it, because sometimes the app's not going to know that you want to talk for 30 seconds. So if it automatically highlights and doesn't pull the exact clip of audio you want, just go back in, trim that clip to the audio clip that you want, and then set it to manual, and then that will allow that full length, and just kind of do the duplication like Kyle showed with slow-mo. You take that same approach, and so whether you're looking to get mixed audio, you're trying to get only talking audio, now you kind of have a way to do that, as well as the pro tip on the editing. So thank you for that question.
I just want to point out to a lot of people, and people are always, I think, calling bull, like just they don't believe me, but like that Connor McFarlane clip there, that is literally just a GoPro Max mounted off his helmet. There is no mic, there is no windsock, there is nothing. The Hero 8, we filmed at Crankworks with that, with the athletes. Literally, you can just hear them talking, a little bit of cool sound in the background, but I don't know what's going on. But the 8 and the Max's audio are ridiculously awesome, man. Like they are so advanced from back in the day when, like, I remember with the 4, like you couldn't hear anything, and you'd hear a knock, and you'd always like this dunk as you move the camera around. The audio is just getting so much better on these cameras that let's use it. Let's mix it in there. Let's get like that raw clip, that first one I showed before of the birds. I found, like, I literally just walked down that jetty because that was the day I found out about lockdown in New Zealand here, and I was quite miserable. And I had this peaceful moment, and I pulled my phone out to Insta story it, but it just didn't record the birds in the way I wanted it to. Whereas I found, and I was like, what am I doing? Go get the GoPro. And with the Hero 8, suddenly it picked up all the birds in the background. It got everything in there. The mics, built-in mics on these is so good right now.
Oh, it's truly a game changer. And, like with those 6 microphones that are in, Max, like, as well as like, the full control you can have. You can adjust it. Do you want the front mic? Do you want the back mic? So if you're, looking to use it like in the hero mode as for vlogging, it's awesome because you can be talking to the back screen while you're filming what you're seeing and be capturing audio from the back, or vice versa. Maybe you're you're filming from the front, but you're in a huge city, you want to capture the noise of the streets and the sounds that are happening. You can, choose not only which camera's recording, you can also choose which mic is recording, or you can make it full stereo. It is just revolutionary, because we know that as important it is to have that incredible Emmy award-winning footage, when it comes to the quality of the image, the audio is that extra special part that just adds so much value to your content. And nothing better than you don't have to lug a giant microphone or a separate setup to be able to do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into a couple more questions. I know you guys have been hanging out with us for quite some time, so I don't want to, take away from Joel Novotny's question, which Joel wants to know, does the app allow me to edit photos taken from my phone and stitch them into a video taken on my GoPro? And then does that allow me to upload to my YouTube account straight from the app?
Yeah, so I think I accidentally answered that question just before. Like, you can put a photo within the videos. Like when you're making a video, you can add them in there, push that little plus symbol in between clips, and it will just take you back to your camera roll, drag that in. And what the app will do is it's even going to give you an option if you want a focus area, so you can make it a slow pull. It'll even ask you, how long do you want this photo up there? Do you want it to flash in and out? Do you want it in there for a little while? And then, so yeah, you can, or you can just have an entire, I know a few kayak company, like there's I think a whitewater rafting company up in the North Island, Tongariro Rafting out in Turangi. I think they're constantly putting up daily videos and photos, and they'll grab all their photos and they'll put them into a montage at the end of the week, and just so all their clients can see how awesome their week was. And it's a great little option there. You can, at the very end, you can, and Cohen, you'll have to confirm this for me, but you can just upload straight away, can't you? Like,
Yeah,
if
you
save
can.
to your camera.
You can just load straight up by just hitting the little share icon, that little square with the arrow, or I personally like to save it to my camera roll because then it's saved to the cloud. But also too, if you have the the GoPro cloud, it will also be saved there. So it might it's great if you can just either way, you can share it direct or save it to your camera roll. And as Kyle said, he likes to airdrop it to his computer and then upload it. It's just really more what's your workflow. But yes, you can go right to YouTube the moment you're done, and that way too it will save space if you don't want to save it to your camera roll.
I'm just a bit more high maintenance.
You are always, So we're gonna power through a couple of these things real quick because Keith wants to know, is the highlight feature like a transition? And so the answer is not technically. What you're really doing when you're highlighting is you're telling the app that this is a moment that you want to include within your edit. The transition and the cuts are all going to be related to the style that you chose. So back to Kyle's question about the cine or maybe launch or raw, those are going to give you the style and the type of transitions, and then it's going to pick those moments that the app feels that it wants to transition. If you want to make it all manual because you're more of that manual workflow, you don't like the auto transition, instead of using highlights or using the auto highlights, just choose all of your clips to be manual, and then it's going to play whatever is in that trimmed portion. And that really is going to be a great way around that. So thank you for that question. Next, we got two for you. I got two for you, Kyle.
Cool. Here we go.
Yeah. One, Jaiwai wants to know, man, I hope I slaughter that again. I'm so bad with names, so please don't kill me. But Bare Kiwi, what's your editing workflow when you shoot with the GoPro Hero 8 and GoPro Max?
My editing workflow. So
Yep.
I will get it in my head beforehand so that I'm not sitting there being handling too much footage at the other end, because I think that's the big key. Keep everything down to 30 seconds. Like 30 seconds is a long time. And then, so with the Max, you'll know that you'll need to reframe that footage to drag it in. So if I'm going to shoot with the Max, I'm going to commit to shooting with the Max and making sure that I use it. Other than that, don't be afraid to delete clips. Once you've got them all in there and are in that edit and you're looking at them, scroll through them really quick. Be picky, be fussy. You're telling a story that maybe makes sense to you, but to the viewers, it's not going to. So don't be afraid to throw clips out. I know it might break your heart, but yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that answers that.
No, I think that's a great answer, and I think this is a kind of a question that just naturally follows that is, Celine Palovich wants to know, where do you get your inspirations from to make these videos? Like, what inspires you to get out there and keep creating content?
Celine, thanks so much for asking that question. And what inspires me? My God, man, there's so much that inspires me. I just go outside and go for a walk around. You guys inspire me. I've got a bunch of favorite people that I follow, and I really love their content, like Abe Kislevitz, Sean Jeffers, here in New Zealand. Like, there's some really good fellows out there and girls that I love following. Sophie Piercy down in Queenstown, Ed Ringwood in Sydney. There's all these guys and girls around the world that I enjoy following. But I'll be honest, I often find that if I watch their content, I start thinking I'm not good enough. So sometimes just get outside and go and have some fun. Your ordinary is extraordinary. And I think everyone forgets that. Right now, I'm going to go outside because after this and go hang out on the beach because that's where I live. But you start taking these places for granted and you forget about them. what inspires me the most is when I go out on a smallest adventure and I put it into the app and I turn out a video that just makes it look so epic, because that really is what happened, that it then inspires me to do it again. So in a weird, arrogant way, you'd almost say that you all inspire yourself, because you should. You really should. Your ordinary is extraordinary, and get out there, start showing people, maybe you live in a busy city. I don't know what a busy city looks like. And a time lapse of you just walking to work is going to blow my mind. I guarantee it. So do it one day, put it into the app and share it. And I think you'd be surprised, because you've been following too many people that you might have forgotten. I need that little up. Get out there and share it and have some fun with it. And yeah, your ordinary is extraordinary. I'm going to stand by that, man. I'm going to get that tattooed right here next to Mom.
right on your forehead. No, but I think you hit that, the nail on the head, and I think that's what, it gives me the shivers when you do that, the goosebumps, goose pimples. I know that lots of people call it a lot of different things, but it really is touching when you say that, because I think that's what I love so much about what I do at GoPro, is that I get to meet and engage and connect with so many people around the world that are just using GoPro in all these unique and interesting ways. And it's why I wake up every day, because I love it so much, because it's incredible to see all these amazing content creators, all the sweet things that people are doing. And I just am so grateful for the experience, because it's like we live in such a unique time where we can be connected, like right now, like you and I are talking. Technically you're in the future, man. Like it is already Thursday afternoon. You're ready to have margaritas and beer, and it is like nighttime here, and I'm ready to go to bed. And it's just so cool that we are literally talking to each other, and you're all the way across the world, and all these crazy people are here with us. Just listen to us blokes just ramble on about who knows what.
You want to know what the lottery tickets are for Thursday afternoon?
Exactly. Okay, well, it looks like I'm getting we got to cut it. So we're we're gonna take one more question, and then we're gonna we'll roll it on through. So I'm gonna make this a two-part question, so we can hit two questions at once. So they kind of want to know. Two people. Zach Barrett wants to know kind of some setting questions, as so does Jared Phillips. So we're going to combine it into one question. So when shooting for the app, what is the best resolution to use? Shoot for the highest resolution possible so I have more options to upload?
No.
And then the next part of that question is Zach Barrett's, and they want to know Zach wants to know, what is a good ISO, a maximum and minimum, and the shutter to use if you're shooting in 4K 60 on a Hero 8? So that's a two-part question, but kind of the same topic.
Okay, I'll be honest. I very rarely shoot in 4K 60, just simply because I don't have those fancy phones like you guys do in the States over there, and I can't fill my phone up that quick. So I shoot 2.7K 60 frames per second. And I've been experimenting a lot, and it really does. You guys got to start using that Pro Tune and really start using that camera manually, because when it comes to ISO, it depends on the situation. It really, really does. You can leave it set at, maximum 400, minimum 100. And, that works well. That covers pretty much all bases, but don't be afraid to push it up or lower it down, depending, maybe it's really bright middle of the daytime. So lower it right down, that's, you don't want to be sitting at 800 ISO for that. Or maybe it's real low light, boost it up. And if you're going to boost it up, then turn the sharpness down. That's a massive thing you need to understand. The sharpness within the GoPro, like every time you lift that ISO, the higher it goes, the sort of the grainier the footage is going to be. So you've got the sharpness option. So then lower the sharpness, brighter the day, then don't be afraid. You can turn that sharpness up and you'll be fine with it. So
absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I do love about the newer cameras, that you now have the ability to do a min and a max. And I think you hit it right there. Like our media team, we love that 1 to 400 range, but on those bright sunny days, go 1 to 200. You could even lock it at 1 to 100 if it's super, super bright. Another thing that I like to do is I always like to adjust my EV comp. If it's about a half a tick down, I'd always rather underexpose stuff, because I can always bring it up in the app or any editing tool. It's really hard to bring stuff back down if you've blown it out. So I always suggest, if it's specifically in the day, like all that skiing footage, like, man, I'm about a negative 1.5 to 2, because you're going to get that reflection off that white snow, from, doing the winter games and stuff. It gets really, really blown out if you don't turn that EV comp down.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it doesn't matter if you're shooting for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anything. Put some heart and soul into it. It's all the same. It's all going to come out looking awesome. So, yeah.
Yep. And I'd say, Jared, just give you one quick shout out for that too. Like, again, think about what you're going to do with the footage. Like, if you're just going to shoot it for Facebook or for Instagram, they're going to down res that anyway. So unless you really are going to look to kind of reframe, or you're going to take it and you want to zoom in on a part of it, like, if you're only going to be uploading something to Instagram, then might as well just shoot in 1440 or 1080. Like, you don't need to shoot in 4K. If you don't know what you're going to do with it, that's kind of where then you got to decide. Like, do you want to take up more battery, more SD card space, more space on your phone? But if you already know what you're going to do with it, you might as well. There's no reason to overshoot. It's kind of back to the whole Kyle's point about recording long clips. Like, just the same approach is right there. So thank you guys so much for those questions. I thought those were a great way for us to kind of transition and into the final part of the show, where we get to give away this GoPro Hero 8. Hey, so Kyle, can you give us a little bit of a Maori chant? So I'm putting you on the spot, because normally we do a drum roll, but that's not very American.
Right,
that's not very Kiwi.
I'm coming back.
All right.
I promise I'm coming back.
All right.
All right, brother.
Oh,
Okay,
sweet.
Here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
You! Thank you for that, Kyle. And with that, our winner of the Hero 8 Black. We thought the conversation around this question was really great, so that's what the moderators threw at us. Tony Spires, he asked, can you explain how to slow down a portion of a clip, but also still wanting to keep the rest of that clip at normal speed to give it a speed ramping effect? And he wanted to know, will you have to duplicate the same clip? And I thought that we all know that slow motion is something that we love about the GoPro, being able to go down to 8 times, and speed ramping is something that, normally it used to take a lot of skill, or you'd have to have one of these fancy programs to do. And so it's awesome the way that you showed, Tony, how you can do that with your sandboarding clip, Kyle. And Tony, thank you so much for your question, as well as thank you everybody for your guys' questions and comments today. Tony, real quick though, before you sign off, make sure that you throw in your info, and our team will get in contact with you, and we'll follow up to make sure we can get your address and get you that camera, because we want to make sure wherever you are, you can get this in your hands, get out there and start capturing your life's most memorable moments, because as we said, your ordinary is extraordinary. Did I nail that, yes. Kyle?
That's it.
Well, Kyle, I want to thank you so much. I don't want to keep you from enjoying the beach and hanging out with your beautiful wife and your friends. I want to, thank all of you out there for joining us on this GoPro Tips live stream experience. I hope you've enjoyed today's, live stream. Please make sure you throw your additional comments and questions about what you'd like to hear next. We want to hear from you guys. We're always trying to come up with the topics as well as who you want to hear from. And so until next time, Kyle, I miss you, man. I hope we get to hang out sometime soon. I hope you have a wonderful time, enjoying your backyard, and I look forward to seeing your content. Thanks for taking time, man.
No worries. Thanks so much for having me here, guys. And everyone stay safe out there. It's an absolute crap time. We're all in this together. And get out there, support your locals, and take it easy. Be kind to each other. Really be kind to each other.
Absolutely. kindness, kind humans just need to keep passing it on, pass on that kindness. So, Eric, I want to give it one last shout out, huge shout out or two to our moderators. Thank you so much, the customer support team for taking time to moderate all this. And of course, thank you, Eric Gonzalez, for directing and producing this show. We're really just the goofballs on camera. You made this whole thing just extraordinary. So thank you so much. And thank you to all you. And with that, we'll sign it off until next time, guys. Cheers.
All right. Kakete, everyone. See you later. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to Taipei.
Wow.